The day the title changed hands, the Arizona sun beat down with familiar desert ferocity. Nestled on a secluded ridge outside Flagstaff sat a stunning, contemporary two-story house, its steel beams, vaulted ceilings, and expansive glass walls framing the San Francisco peaks miles away to perfection. Hidden behind a private security gate and dense desert scrub, it was the sort of place that did not attract much notice from the neighbors. All they knew was that someone had paid for it in cash. No loan, no mortgage, no strings. But nobody seemed to have any idea who the purchaser was. That is indeed, until a rumor began circulating through social circles in Flagstaff. Brown, and no ordinary Brown. Aurora Alice Brown. The minute the word spread, it flared through what was left of the Brown family like a flame in tinder. Crustine, already settled blissfully in Utah and well out of the turmoil, heard the news first through a real estate contact. She didn't hesitate. She grabbed for the phone and rang Janelle. "It's not Robin's," she said, her tone biting. "It's not Cody's either. It's in Aurora's name. What's going on over there?" Janelle's stomach knotted. Nowadays, nothing Cody did managed to surprise her. He'd cleaned out her savings, eliminated her 401k, and left her to live in an RV while Robin had a comfortable, nicely outfitted house. But this was different. It wasn't Robin who broke the news either. It was their son, Solomon. He had overheard Cody on the phone with a notary and innocently asked, "Dad, which house are you talking about?" I confronted Cody that night, my voice shaking with anger and confusion. "You bought a house and put it in Aurora's name? Again, you've made a huge life decision without informing me." Cody didn't blink. Standing in the hallway of their junk-filled rental, frazzled from years of emotional junk, he could barely muster a whisper. She needed it. I wanted to give her something. A gift. Robin looked at him appalled. "Cody, we don't even have a plan for what comes next," she wailed. "And you're out here giving our daughter, my daughter, a house like she's some kind of award for your screw-ups?" But Cody didn't back down. "She's 22, Robin. She's afraid of the world. Life scares her. And that's our fault. I didn't appear in her life. And you shielded her from it all. So much so, she won't even get into a car unless you're in the front seat." Robin's mouth dropped open. The shock hit her like a slap. "You're calling me a bad mother now, after everything I've done for our kids?" "I'm saying," Cody shot back, "we locked her into our dysfunction. And this is my way of trying to undo that." But there was more beneath his words, a deeper truth still unfolding. Aurora's awakening. When Aurora approached the front entrance of the house, her hands were shaking. This place, this gorgeous, daunting place, was hers. The realtor, already coached by Cody to slow down and not push her too hard, smiled softly with understanding as he opened the door. The house smelled clean, lemon wood polish and fresh paint. It was silent, too silent. No tantrum-throwing toddlers, no TLC producers softly guiding, no secret cameras pushed into walls, and no Robin. Cody handed Aurora the key with weary, reddened eyes. "This is yours now, sweetheart," he said softly. "No one is going to videotape you here. No cameras. No one telling you what to do." Aurora almost fell to her knees, overwhelmed by it all at once. "Why now?" she whispered. Cody let out a deep breath, his tone heavy with remorse. "Because I should have done this 5 years ago." What Aurora didn't realize, however, was that buried in the thickly legal jargon of the closing papers was a provision, a small, easily overlooked one. A reversion clause. Should she decide to sell the house within 5 years, sole ownership would revert to Cody. This wasn't a benevolent act. It was a crown disguised as liberty, but crafted with strings, softly binding. A gilded shackle, masquerading as autonomy. News of the house, and strings attached, spread through the Brown family quicker than scandal at a wedding. Paydon, who never did like to keep his mouth shut, went live on Instagram. His voice was bitter. My dad wouldn't even assist me in obtaining a car when I enlisted in the National Guard, he jeered. But Aurora? She receives a whole house. You believe that's love? That's guilt. That's a production. He's attempting to persuade himself that he was not a failure. Even Michael T. got into the act, tweeting a biting meme. When you gaslight everyone for years, then buy property to make it all go away. And Leon, who typically maintained space from Cody, had something to say. Aurora never asked for this. She's just another casualty in my dad's emotional cleanup mission. Crustine adopted a gentler tone. She uploaded a TikTok of herself dancing in her kitchen, smiling while twirling with a coffee cup in hand. The caption was, "Freedom smells like fresh coffee and no manipulative men." But in the background, she was anxious. Cody hadn't merely provided Aurora with a house. He'd separated her from everything, drawn her into a sort of independence that bordered on exile. On the surface, it seemed to be liberating, but beneath, it seemed like a trap, like something was going to come apart at any moment. Robin's descent. Robin wasn't handling it well. Her sanity started to unravel. She paced the rental home, talking to herself, as if TLC cameras were still present, although they'd been gone for a while. Why didn't he ask me? She muttered repeatedly. Can she come in with a boyfriend? Could she use drugs? What if she never returns to her siblings? She attempted to call Aurora repeatedly, but no one picked up. Days went by, then weeks. At last, Robin drove out to the house without warning. Trembling, she stood before the security gate and pushed the intercom button. Aurora's voice over the loudspeaker was tranquil but far away. You can't enter at the moment, Mom. Please, darling, Robin implored, her throat cracking. I brought you soup. Your siblings miss you. But Aurora remained firm. I need room. This was what Dad wished for me. You claimed to stand with him. Then the sudden click of the gate closing. Robin yelled into her steering wheel, sobbing in her vehicle, the burden of it all finally reaching her. Mary's visit. Mary had remained quiet about it all, observing from the outside. But then one day she appeared at the house unannounced. To everyone's shock, Aurora opened the door. The kitchen was silent and untouched. Aurora and Mary sat on opposite sides of the table, the space between them charged with a quiet tension. Mary had brought with her some framed pictures of Aurora from when she was in her teens in Las Vegas, and a bottle of sparkling cider. No fuss, just a kind gesture. She didn't waste time. Your dad said to me years ago, Mary started delicately, that he was worried you'd turn out like me. Aurora blinked. What? Mary nodded, the corners of her mouth tightening. He said I was too independent, too sharp, too much, really. Cody always thought women needed to be soft, pleasant. He was afraid that one day you'd wake up and realize who he is. Aurora's voice was barely above a whisper. I already have. Mary pushed a crumpled sheet of paper across the table. It was a page from an old notebook. Cody's writing. Aurora read the words slowly. I'll never lose Robin if I can keep Aurora close. Her hands shook. Her eyes didn't leave the page as she whispered, I'm not even a person to him. I'm an anchor. The storm hadn't hit yet, but the air was heavy, charged. Cody hadn't shown up. Robin had stopped replying to texts. Aurora changed the code on the security gate. Inside her home, Aurora lit a single candle. She turned on soft music, pulled out a journal, and wrote, "I finally have walls. Actual ones. Not the kind constructed out of guilt or expectation. I have doors that shut, locks, and my name is on the deed. For the first time, I am somewhere that's not borrowed or temporary. I don't know what kind of father Cody was, really, but I do know this house won't repair what's broken. Yet, it's mine, and I'll take it." Outside, the heat of the summer in Flagstaff clung heavy and dry, like the quiet before a desert monsoon. It weighed down everything, making it difficult to breathe. It had been 31 days since Cody gave her the keys. 27 days since Robin attempted to break in. 18 days since Aurora cut her off. And only a day since Aurora discovered the envelope. It was sitting tidily on her front porch. No return address. No stamp. Whoever had obviously come in through the gate to put it there. Her heart came to a halt as she saw the name on it. David Jessup. She eased herself slowly onto her elegant linen couch, the envelope trembling in her fingers. That name hadn't passed her ears in years. To Aurora, David Jessup was not a man, he was a warning. Robin had always talked about him in hushed, frenzied whispers, unstable, enraged, not safe. Cody had worked those tales into her psyche as well, particularly after the adoption. The name had been erased from her life, traded for rules, boundaries, a new name. Even so, she opened the letter. "Aurora, you don't know me, and I won't lie that I was ever your father. But now that the man who took my place has given you a house, with conditions, you need to know the truth. I know things about Cody, about why he adopted you, about what he stole from your mother and from you. If you would like answers, come to Holbrook. Sunday, 2:00 p.m. The old diner on Route 66. I will be there. Come alone." The letter slipped from her fingers, and suddenly, the house was not so warm anymore. Aurora's thoughts were reeling. Across town, Robin was huddled on the floor of her bedroom, surrounded by disarray, stacks of unread mail, overdue bills, and a mounting stack of unpaid property tax notices on their rental house. Her mascara stained her cheeks, and she sat in stunned, devastated silence. The kids hardly even looked at her anymore. Cody was rarely home. And TLC? The cameras ceased to roll. She sobbed softly into the silence. "She's shut me out. She thinks I'm the villain now." Cody had become a ghost. Sometimes kind, more often distant, and rarely remorseful. But Robin's fears had taken on a different shape. She was terrified he was going to replace her with Aurora. Despite having no cameras to witness it, this was Robin's breakdown rawest since the Vegas days, since Crustine had left, since Mary had walked away. And this time, there was no spin doctoring to repair it. Aurora no longer trusted her, and once that was gone, there was no replacing it. Cody's new game Crustine, ever intuitive, had her gut telling her that something was wrong. The suspicion grew stronger when she got a call from a paralegal in Flagstaff who saw Cody's name on a spur-of-the-moment filing of property deeds. "He's selling more property," the woman replied cautiously, "under various names, mostly Robin's children." Crustine's blood chilled. She knew Cody too intimately. "He's stashing cash," she figured out loud, "hiding it under the kids' names to transfer property back and forth." She called Mary and Janelle right away. "He's up to something. He's already finished with Aurora's place, and now he's on Brianna and Dayton." Mary, exhausted and angry, didn't debate. We need a lawyer, now. Janelle sounded even-tempered, but icy. If he's hiding assets using the kids, we have to get him into court for fraud. The meeting in Holbrook Sunday arrived sooner than Aurora anticipated. Her anxiety was knotted as she drove to Holbrook by herself. The old diner along Route 66 was sparsely populated, only a single man in the corner. Mid-40s, blue-eyed, weary but familiar. David Jessup. He rose as she entered, voice subdued. "You came," he said, his tone tinged with surprise. "I wasn't sure you would." They sat across from one another, and the silence felt thick, like it carried years of pain. "Why now?" Aurora finally asked. David leaned forward, his voice low. "Because I've been silent for over a decade. And I've watched that man, Cody, build an empire on lies." Aurora stared at him, her voice uncertain. "What lies?" David reached into his coat and slid an old court document across the table. "I didn't walk away," he replied. "Robin and Cody informed the court I was dangerous, but I never relinquished my rights. I never even received a hearing date. They used church ties to rocket propel everything. The system didn't fail me. It was fixed." Aurora's face turned white. Her eyes were filled with incredulity. "You're telling me the adoption wasn't even legal?" "I'm saying," David replied softly, "it was built on manipulation. Like everything else Cody touches." Aurora stood abruptly. Her world as she knew it was unraveling. She could barely breathe. "I don't even know what to believe anymore." David didn't chase her. He simply said, "Don't let that house become your cage. Cody always gives to maintain control. That's how he operates." The firestorm begins. Meanwhile, back in Flagstaff, the court fight had commenced. Crustine and Janelle had retained 2 lawyers. They were collecting everything: accounting records, screenshots, ancient texts, all pointing to one conclusion. Cody used family trust money to purchase land in Robin's children's names. The lawyer went over the documents and stated, "This isn't shady," the lawyer said bluntly. "It's not legal. It's stealing." Had Cody distributed marital property without disclosing everything, particularly once the breakup began, he could have some actual legal repercussions coming. Crustine and Janelle had had enough waiting around. With their lawyers behind them, they sent a formal notice requesting all property dealings be put on ice immediately. The letter was delivered by hand to Cody, and when he opened it, he blew his top. "They're trying to kill me!" he bellowed, slamming the envelope onto the table. "I screamed at Robin out of love. I gave that girl a home, and now I'm accused of being a con artist?" Robin, shaking, retorted, "Because you did it behind everyone's backs." Cody's eyes grew cold, hollow. "You were to keep Aurora close, but even you've lost her." The words cut through whatever tenuous connection they'd established. The last vestige between them broke. Aurora's choice. That evening, beneath a silent Flagstaff sky, Aurora glided barefoot across her backyard, the chill of the grass on her feet. She'd never experienced this sort of tranquility before, never experienced space or silence, or the sense of moonlight radiating off stucco walls that were hers. She sat on the porch with 2 items in her hands: the deed to the property and David Jessup's letter. Her mind reeled, recollections of Robin's hovering, Cody's guilty gifts, the cameras, the lies, and now, the silence. She opened her phone and texted her lawyer. "I want to put the house in my trust. Fully independent. No reversion clause. I want real freedom." Then she sent a second message to Robin. "Respect my space. I'm discovering who I am without either of you." And lastly, to Cody. Thank you for the house, but I'm no longer your redemption story. My name is Aurora, and I'm not anyone's property. The house of guilt and glory. The walls Cody had attempted to erect, with love, with guilt, with control, were crumbling. Robin was disintegrating. Cody was imploding. Aurora was emerging. And Crustine and Janelle were poised to upend the very foundations of the Brown dynasty. And then came the news. Former sister wives demand full financial transparency. Civil suit filed against Cody Brown for property fraud. The news went public, and everything shifted. Within a cozy, wood-planked law office, Crustine and Janelle sat together as their lawyers completed the civil lawsuit. The suit called for a complete audit of all Brown family trust accounts, suspension of property transfers relating to Robin's children, effective immediately, repayment for marital assets spent buying Aurora's house, legal probe into secret provisions, such as the one buried in Aurora's deed. As soon as the filing went up on the internet, their phones blew up. Support rained in, from fans, old castmates, even long-lost relatives. Screenshots, testimonials, insider gossip from Flagstaff. Someone even posted location information from Cody's Venmo. Others suggested hidden cash hoards in Wyoming. Janelle scrolled darkly through it all. He began using shell LLCs to transfer money before we even left Vegas. Crustine nodded. Well, he's not getting away with it anymore. Robin's reckoning. At home, Robin paced her kitchen, attempting to put it all together. And then came the knock at the door, a certified letter. The envelope was dense, sealed in gold foil, her name written in beautiful script. Robin Sullivan Brown. She opened it deliberately, and as she read, her heart fell. There was a formal notice inside the envelope, one from Aurora's lawyer. It was direct and unyielding. As of today, Robin Brown cannot perform any parental or representative function. Aurora Alice Brown has withdrawn all authorizations. You are to have no contact, visitation, or interference with her personal matters or residence in any shape or form. Robin gasped for air, then fell to the kitchen floor. Her little girl, her youngest, had lawfully severed her. Cody's breakdown begins. Robin stormed into Cody's Airbnb, the legal notice clutched in her hand like it was burning her skin. She interrupted one of his usual rants mid-sentence. She has a lawyer, Cody, a real one, and she's officially removed me from her life. Cody's face flushed. His eyes narrowed, wild and bloodshot. Slowly, he turned toward her. Well, he muttered, maybe now you'll stop coddling her. You initiated this, Robin snapped. You provided her with the house, he bellowed, because I figured she'd still require us. Now she's becoming Mary, frigid, ingrateful, independent, just like the rest. Robin's voice grew louder in anger. You mean independent. That is what frightens you, Cody. Women who don't require you. Cody slammed his fist on the counter with a roar. She was to be different. But deep inside, what Cody was struggling most against was himself. He knew that. Knew he had never given without expecting something in return. And now, one by one, the women in his life were severing those strings, abandoning him. TLC steps. In 3 days later, when the lawsuit became public, TLC issued a concise but revealing statement. We know about the civil lawsuit against former cast members of Sister Wives. We have an internal review process on financial deals and contract disclosure ongoing. We cannot comment on current litigation. Translation: TLC was distancing itself from Cody. Insider sources leaked more. The network had also begun negotiations for a new show, this time featuring Crustine and Janelle. Discussions regarding a Cody-led spin-off, Reclaiming Brown, the patriarch's legacy, were quietly dropped. The tide had officially shifted. The DNA bombshell. In a discreet lawyer's office, Aurora sat motionless, her fingers clenching the rim of an envelope. She hadn't shared with anyone. Not her siblings, not Robin, not even Cody. Only David Jessup knew that she'd sent in a DNA test. Now the results were in. Her lawyer sat down with her and asked softly, "Do you want me to read it out loud?" Aurora nodded. The lawyer opened the paper and started, "Aurora Alice Brown and David Preston Jessup have a 99.998% paternity match." Aurora's hands shook. The paper fell from her hands. "So, it's true," she whispered. "He is my biological father." And in an instant, years of painstakingly woven fiction toppled. Cody had constantly declared David had left her, that the adoption was for love, that it was to safeguard her. But now Aurora realized the truth for what it was. David hadn't left. He had been erased. The secret recording. As she assisted Janelle in sorting through stacks of financial records, Mary discovered something she hadn't given much mind to in years. She texted Crustine. That recording, the one in Vegas, where Cody told the truth about what Aurora meant to him. "I think I still have it." Later that evening, in a subdued Salt Lake hotel room, the three women gathered. Mary booted up her antiquated laptop and pressed play. Cody's voice crackled from the dusty speakers. "I'll never lose Robin if I can hold on to Aurora. She's the glue. If she cracks, Robin shatters. She's not a daughter. She's the policy." Crustine ground her teeth. Janelle turned away, nauseated. Mary relaxed back into her chair, her face drained. "We tailed that man," she whispered. Crustine wiped a tear from the edge of her eye. "Let's set it all ablaze. Aurora, speak.